would just be over. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, Burning Man's done. Go home. Awesome. We're gonna give people a couple more minutes, but in the meantime, I'm happy to field any questions anybody has about what we're getting into. Yeah, so I'll give you a little tutorial ahead of time, what we're doing. But basically, we tap into a theta brainwave state through guided visualization meditation, and you see what you see. Whatever you see is perfect for you. It's we don't judge what comes up. The more we kind of judge it, the more we resist it, the more we question it, the less magic that happens for you. So that's and I'll get into all this, but basically we're going to tap into the subconscious, which holds all the memories of existence. But we don't often create time in our lives to allow that stuff to bubble to the surface. And if we don't know what that stuff is, that's basically our subconscious programming that we're not aware of that's ruling our lives. And so once we can become aware of it, we can live more mindful lives that are more in accord with who we are, not what our subconscious programs are, whether they were from this lifetime or past lifetimes. And I'm not here to say past lives are real or not real, but this is the experience that people have where they fall into a state that looks like a past life. And so similarly to a dream you might have, you're used to having dreams, and so you don't judge them. You're like, that was weird, but you have a dream every night mostly. Sometimes you don't remember them, but we stopped really questioning them. We just say, that was a crazy dream. But we don't actually look at it for the symbolism that it might carry in a meaningful way towards our lives. So that's basically what we're doing, if that makes sense. And I guess I'll just get going. I think we got a quorum. It's 4 minutes past 12, and I don't want to eat up everybody's time. So thank you all so much for being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here right now. So that's awesome. I'm Raphael. I've been practicing past life regression hypnosis for a couple of years. This is a method that was designed by Dolores Cannon, if you've heard of that name before. There's a few different modalities out there that different people use to practice past life regression. This is the one that found me. It's called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. And it's really like a scripted algorithm that Dolores Cannon designed over her 40-year career to just efficiently drop people into that state of mind that allows them to access this unique information. And in that is a lot of deep healing work. That's why it's called quantum hypnosis healing technique. So if you're concerned about starting your healing journey or dabbling into healing journey, I just want to preface that could be part of the experience that you have today. Usually healing is something that we have been resisting in our lives, and that's why we need to heal it. It's information that makes us a little uncomfortable, or we don't want to accept, or we don't want to really face, or we want to blame somebody else for that thing that is residing really in us, but we want to externalize it and say, no, my father did this to me, and damn him, and blah, blah, and that's why I am the way I am. Instead of taking accountability and responsibility for your own state of being, that's what the healing work really is. This is a healing technique that allows all those repressed things to bubble to the surface so that we can actually feel them and see them, allow them, accept them. And when we accept them, we give them permission to pass, so we don't need to hold on to them anymore. They don't need to rule our lives anymore. And then we can be liberated and free to be our most authentic, unique, loving, feeling selves that really wants to be out here experiencing life. We don't want to be trapped in the victim cycle of damning everything else outside of us, that doesn't really get us anywhere, because no one outside of us is going to change. The only person that's going to change is you. So this is just a really unique way to allow that stuff to bubble to the surface when we resist looking at it. Similarly to taking psilocybin or ayahuasca, you take the medicine and you don't really, you're letting go of control, ideally, so that that stuff can bubble up and you can see it for the first time, or however many times. You recognize, you're like, oh, I recognize this from my childhood or from somewhere, and yeah, I've been ignoring this my entire life. And usually what happens when you repress that stuff is it manifests in some other way in your life that's undesirable. So it might be an attitude problem that you have. It might be a fear issue, an anxiety, a health condition, an allergy, cancer, headaches. All of these things are actually signals from our body and our soul saying, hey, you're not dealing with this thing. If you dealt with it, you wouldn't be storing that energy that's causing all these kind of toxic traits that we don't really, they're undesirable, to be honest. Like, no, it's okay, I get mad once in a while. Yeah, it's okay to get mad, but you don't have to get mad. You're just getting mad because something's triggering you and you don't really know what it is. So this is a modality to help us tap into that and see it for what it is, and really connect to divine source love energy, to see the world the way it is, to see ourselves the way we are. And we're all really just loving beings. We're all here doing our very best. And so part of the modality of a one-on-one that I do, deep healings with people one-on-one, is guiding them to their past life, walking them through the entire life until the day they die. And in the day that they die, they see themselves die, and then they see themselves transition from living to the other side. And from the other side, you're not attached to your body anymore. You're not attached to your personality anymore. You're not attached to your ego anymore. And so you get to see life through the lens of just pure divine source love, and say, oh, that's why all those things happen. And oh, I didn't have to do those things that way. I could have chosen to really do the things that my heart was telling me my whole life, but I ignored because my father was a farmer, so I decided I had to be a farmer because it was the family business. But deep down inside, I always wanted to be an artist. And so I lived a miserable life because I never was fully, truly expressed. And once you die, you kind of get that perspective. But we can access that here and now. So that's what we're doing. That's the healing work, so that we can be liberated souls and access all the life force energy that we really want to have in life. We want to wake up and be excited about what we're doing. We don't want to dread going to work. We don't want to dread talking to our mother or our brother or our friend. We want to be excited. We want to share our ideas, our thoughts, our gifts with the universe. We want to help others and help ourselves. And it's all kind of coming back to self-love. And so the deeper we can find self-love, the deeper we can find life force energy, the deeper we can live a really actualized life that your soul is desiring. So that's kind of what it is. And I could go on and on, but I want to be mindful of time and I want to create an experience for everybody. Any questions about anything that I said, or any past experiences anybody has had about glimpsing into the past or into the future or into the subconscious? So before I started practicing, I went and had someone do it on me, and I think either I was resistant or I got what I was supposed to get. They say you always get what you're supposed to get. So I didn't have a very vivid past life. I saw colors, I saw darkness, I saw not a whole lot personally. And I think I have different explanations for that. For me, in that moment, I was going to learn. I went to see a practitioner to see how they practiced the practice. And so that was my intention going in. And in life, intention carries so much weight in everything. What we intend for is usually what we get. And so we want to be mindful of the way we're waking up in the morning. What are our intentions for the day? We want to be mindful when we take a substance. What is our intention taking this substance? If we don't have an intention, we're kind of an open vessel for any type of energy to come in and kind of take over. So it's really important to be mindful of intention. And we could be lightly mindful of intention, or we could be like, what's your intention? Like every moment of the day. Like that's a little too intense for me. But intention is really important. So at some point here, I'll ask everybody to anchor into what your intention is for either being here in this workshop, being here at Burning Man, or existing in life. Any way you ask this question of yourself, you're actually communicating with your higher self. You're communicating with the subconscious. You're communicating with the universe, God, source, whatever we want to call it. But there becomes a conversation that we're having that the more we ask for what we desire, the more we receive what we desire. The more we anchor into our thoughts about how shitty that thing was, or how anxious I'm going to be, or all that ends up being what you're manifesting. So being very conscious about how we're thinking is what we're calling in life. So in that scenario, I went in and said, my intention is to learn how to do this practice because I want to start practicing. I'm not going to start practicing until I get a real life experience for myself. There's also other reasons I think that might have happened. They say our souls have all lived thousands of lives. And when we tap into this work, I always tell my clients, and what I've been educated on is that the clients are always getting what they're supposed to get. They're never getting more than they can handle. So they're not going to give you more than you can handle. You're not going to be given the whole thing that is too overwhelming for you to handle all at once. They'll give it to you in little pieces. What do you need to know today to live your best life right now? That's all we ever want to know right now. And that's why we're here. The only reason we go tap into a past life is because we want to start living our best life today. It's all about our current lives. Whatever happened in the past, happened in the past. Whatever's going to happen in the future is going to happen in the future. But we want to gain as much information as we can to live our best lives now. So that's what we're accessing, and that's what I think I was receiving in that moment. I haven't gone back to do it, basically because I don't feel a calling to do it. And usually you'll do these things when you feel like you actually have some deep healing work to do. Like you have questions for the universe, like, what's going on with my life? Why does this thing keep happening? I'm so sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Why can't I call more abundance and money into my life? Why can't I call in friendships and partnerships that are loving and not abusive? Why can't I call in a peaceful living? Why is my place always a mess? Why can I never find my keys? Like these things that kind of linger in the back of our head end up becoming the questions that we want answers to. But if you don't have any burning questions and you're kind of happy where you are, you likely don't have any like deep healing work you need to do in the moment. So usually you'll go do a plant medicine ceremony because you want to heal something. There's something that's not optimal in your life. You're not necessarily going to have this crazy psychedelic experience just for fun. You can, but it's usually because you have deep work to do. So that's what this is all about. And so hypnosis and theta brainwave state is a state of mind we all access twice a day naturally. So you can, right after you wake up in the morning, your mind is in a theta brainwave state. And right before you fall asleep at night, your mind is in a theta brainwave state. So they say these are the moments in your day that it's really good to be mindful of your intentions, be mindful of your prayers. Be mindful of what you're calling in. You say your prayers before you go to sleep at night. You wake up and you set your intentions for the day, because your brain is still in that theta brainwave state that allows you to reprogram your subconscious psyche. And that's what's really ruling our days and our reactive states of being, or our kind of left brain states of being, where we're reacting to life. And we want to all just kind of let go, right? We don't want to have to control every scenario. We want to be able to let life happen for us, not to us. And so the more we can program that subconscious psyche, the more we can let go, program it to what we want it to be running, and eliminate what we don't want it to be running. Then we can let go and trust that, hey, I've done the work. I've been programming my subconscious psyche every night before I go to sleep at night, writing down my manifestation journal, writing down my gratitude journal, whatever, or just saying my prayers for my family and my friends. And usually that brings us a lot of peace. But when we're not doing that and we're just waking up, hitting the alarm clock, running to work, falling asleep, having a couple of beers to fall asleep at night, you're really not programming your subconscious in a mindful way. You're actually just letting it run wild and letting whatever else is in the world program you. We are all kind of receivers. If you think of us as like an antenna receiving information, your parents were programming you your entire childhood, telling you, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, be this, be that, this way, that way, don't do this, no. You're like, by the time you're 18 years old, you have no idea who you are, because you've been programmed to not do this, not do that, do this, do that, and you were being felt maybe like your love was being withheld from you unless you were acting in accordance. And same thing in school. Your teacher said, do this, do that, do this, do that. No one asked you like what you wanted to do. Who are you? And so often is the case, by the time we're set out into the world to be our own selves and take care of ourselves, we're so confused. Like, who am I anyway? And that becomes the starting of the healing journey, is to eliminate all that other programming that the media, that the school, that TV, that Hollywood, that the school system, the government has programmed and conditioned you to all serve them and what they feel is best for them, and never what's best for you. So we're here to really see all that for what it is. And we're 20 minutes in, so I think we could start diving into some practices here. If you haven't gotten a book, you can come get a book and a pen. We're going to write down some of our experiences as we go, because like waking up from a dream, you might remember your dream for a second or two after you wake up, or maybe a minute. But after those second or two or minute goes by, you're like, wait, what did I dream? It seems so cool and interesting, but you lose it. And we want to capture these moments. If you can start a dream journal, that's awesome, because your dream state is the same state that we're kind of going into, and it's sending us symbols and messages to help us in our waking state. So the more we can understand our subconscious psyche, the more we can tap into how can we serve ourselves best in our current life. So as we go on these journeys, afterwards, I'm going to ask you to take a couple minutes, write down what your experience was. And sometimes as you're writing it, more of the memory of what just happened will come up. So just keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. And don't judge what you're writing, just let it go. Don't judge the images or the pictures or the sounds or the thoughts that are coming into your mind. Allow them to come. The first thing that comes to your mind is the right thing. So allow that first thing to come and then just go with it. So we're going to practice a few different visualization techniques. Has anybody here felt like they have a hard time visualizing, like seeing with their mind's eye? That's usually a common thing that people say, I struggle seeing with my mind's eye. But we're all just need a little more practice in it if we're not good at it. It's just a muscle. If you've never lifted a weight, you're going to be weak. But it doesn't mean you don't have muscles. It just means you haven't practiced lifting them. And then you start lifting soup cans for a week. Like, oh, I got a little baby muscle. Look at that. And you move up to 10 pounds. Oh, look, it's getting a little bigger and stronger. Now I'm feeling more confident. So it's just a muscle that we need to practice if we want to be practicing visualization, using our mind's eye. They say we're using our imagination. We're tapping into the right brain. We're getting out of the left brain. The left brain is kind of ruled by ego. The left brain is ruled by defensiveness. The left brain is ruled by analytical, practical. The right brain is creativity, it's imagination, it's visualization, it's magic, it's intuition, it's ease, it's effortless. It's where life happens really easily for us. And then we start seeing the magic of Burning Man because we're just like letting go of our need to have something, just letting it come to us by being open to the adventure. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, how did that thing synchronistically just happen? I bumped into that person and ran into that piece of art. And like, it's because you let go. You stopped letting your left mind rule you and delve into your right mind, which is just more open and free. So we're going to practice some visualization techniques to show you how easy it is to visualize. So we're going to drop in a little bit here. If you want to lie down, you're free to lie down. If you want to sit up, that's perfectly good too. There's no right or wrong here, however you're most comfortable. I want you to close your eyes and just relax. I'm going to ask you to see something. Just go with it. And when you see these things, I want you to try to put action into it. Not only see the picture, but hear something. Try to hear what is going on. Put sound in it. Put activity in it. Also try to bring in smells if you can. We want to get all of your senses activated. Try to see if you can smell, if you can hear, and if you can see. And fill the scene in full of details. Okay, just relax, eyes closed, and let the pictures come. All right, now, when you are ready, you are back in this room and you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Welcome back. Was everybody able to see something? Yeah? Awesome. Anybody want to share anything interesting that they saw? Yeah.
I saw like it looked like an alien being, and there was like energy, like light waves coming down, and the alien was like holding an orb of light, and there's like energy coming down into the ball of light. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool. That's interesting. I didn't tell you to look at aliens either.
I
but
know, it just kind of came in.
Yeah.
Like but just now, like right when you were ending it.
Beautiful. So the more we kind of like relax into that state, we allow our left mind to turn off, and you allow me to guide you a little bit, it gives your brain this time to relax and stop overthinking things. And when you can do that, all the magical things want to come in and show you their alien selves, you know? Anyone else see anything? It doesn't have to be aliens. It could have just been a carousel, yeah. 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 Yeah, so cool. So you can see actually in how now you can take control of your own subconscious if you like and program it for what you desire. But you saw what came up first. You said, that's a little boring for me. Let's use my imagination to create the world that I want to live in. So cool. Anyone else able to like smell anything or feel anything or hear anything? Activating these other senses? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Wow, so cool. Well, thank you all for sharing. We're going to go into one more exercise. So there's different ways that we can see with our mind's eye. Sometimes we don't see pictures the way other people see pictures. Sometimes that's for people that are more clairvoyant dominant, where they can see with their mind's eye. Some of us are more clairaudient, where we hear things. Some of us are more claircognizant, where we think things and we see with our thoughts. Some of us are more clairsentient, where we see with our feelings. Each one of us has like a stronger superpower in one of these clairs than the other. Usually some of us are, I think I'm more claircognizant, where I see with my thoughts. I don't usually see pictures, but I know what they look like with my thoughts. And they could be just as detailed with my thoughts than with my sight. So however it comes in for you, allow it to come in that way and be open for it to come in any other way that it wants to as well, because they're all there for us. Again, they're just muscles that we haven't really practiced using. And these are the clairs, are all kind of ways that the universe is speaking to us, and that we are also speaking, communing with the universe. So we're going to do one more practice before we get into the first past life journey. Okay, now, when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to this room. Welcome back. Welcome back. Was anybody able to smell any interesting foods or taste anything? Any unique meals that we were sitting around the table, or anybody have anything they want to share? The crunchiness, yeah, so you've almost sensed texture. You know, that's kind of like more clairsentient with feelings of texture. Beautiful. And what were you eating that was so crunchy? Nice. Awesome. Beautiful. Any other interesting meals? Claircognizant. Yeah. Right. Right, yeah. 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 Right. Very cool. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Any other shares? Shakshuka. Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. So it's really interesting now that you're becoming aware of the way you can use your senses in your mind. These are not just physical senses that we're experiencing here in 3D, where I'm touching, smelling the actual food, but your brain understands that you can sense all these things just with your mind. And imagine when you like smell a really well cooked meal, you walk into someone's house and it makes you feel all like juicy and warm and cozy and excited. That's because you physically smelt it, but you can access these same feelings with your mind. And so these feelings and experiences of our 3D senses end up ruling our world. But imagine how much you can control your internal space and life by understanding how to use your mind to tap into some of these things. That's where some of this like magic, seemingly magic, comes into place, where we can create things with our mind essentially. And that's how we can program our subconscious to call into life what it is we do desire. So awesome work, everybody. A little allegory that Dolores Cannon would like to share is that when she first started doing this, she would have groups like this of 10, 20, 30 people. And in one of the sessions, a blind woman came in and they said, blind people will never be able to see their past lives because they don't know how to see. They've never seen anything in this waking life. And this woman spoke up in the conference. She said, well, my favorite color is blue. And we're like, how do you know what your favorite color is? And she said, well, I remember from my past lives. So she had this understanding of what the color blue was from her past life. And later on in that journey, her intention for that setting was to understand why she was born with blindness. And what came forward for her was that in one of her past lives, she was like a medieval ruler, and she would torture her citizens by gouging their eyes out. So the karma that she was now living in this life was experiencing life without vision. And so it's interesting to see now how we can tap into the soul's journey and how karmic things might be coming into our lives if we've brought on this karma by gouging people's eyes out or other things. You know, if you murdered somebody in your past life, you might be reborn again with them as your sibling, because now you have to learn how to live with this person that you murdered in a past life. So this is how the stories of past lives come forward for people. Again, I'm not saying whether it's all 100% true or not, but this is just what comes forward through the work. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask everybody to take a moment and set an intention for yourself here and now. And it could be whatever you want, something you'd like to call in, something you'd like an answer for, a problem that you've been working on or thinking about. Just take a moment and allow whatever wants to come forward for you to be your intention for the rest of this workshop, and maybe the rest of the day, maybe even the rest of the burn. Okay, we all have our intention. Beautiful. We're going to tap into our first past life journey. And again, whatever wants to come forward for you, just allow it. Don't judge it. The first thing that comes to mind is the right thing. Anybody can do this. And if you feel like you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting, that's you judging the experience as well. And allow whatever the experience is to just be the experience. And we're opening up a window here. This is a 3-day window that we're opening up into our subconscious. And so if we want more answers to more questions over the next few days, you can continue asking yourself any questions that you'd like answers to before you go to sleep at night. That's a great time to ask your subconscious to bring forward the messages and information that you'd like in your life. Awesome. How was everybody's journey? Anything interesting anyone wants to share? You don't have to share, sometimes it's deeply personal.
Sure.
Yeah.
I saw, it's funny that I bring this up because I saw like it was like very Egyptian, but like covered in jewelry, like armbands, crowns. I felt like Egyptian royalty kind of. Like I was being served food and like yeah, it's interesting.
Nice.
It's cool.
Very cool. Awesome. Anything else interesting that anyone wants to share? And if you slept through it, that's perfectly good too. Sometimes that's what our body needs, but you are still here with us. Your subconscious is always with us, even when we fall asleep during the session. And if you're still wondering what happened because you did fall asleep, the answers will still come to you as the day goes on. As the moments go on after this, your subconscious is still communicating with you, trying to give you the signs, symbols, whether it's somebody that you run into and tells you something, or something you have in your dream later tonight over the next couple of nights. Yeah, awesome work. It's been an hour. I want to be mindful of everybody's time. I could do more of these. I have 2 more journeys. So if you guys want to do another journey, I'll take a group consensus, or wrap it up and answer any questions. Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you for participating. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's okay. You know, it's like whatever comes forward for us is coming forward for a reason. It doesn't need to, it could have been something on another planet, in another dimension. Like, it could have been an abstract feeling of just colors and sounds. You know, it's like whatever was happening for you, it's not the standard thing that you always have to see a past life. It's your subconscious communicating something to you. Yeah. Cool. So you can reflect on what you experienced and what it was trying to communicate to you, because it's bringing you messages through symbolism. Yeah. If you want to stay in touch, I'm doing 4 more workshops this week. I have a schedule if you like to know when I'm doing those. It's the same thing, but sometimes you get more out of it the more you do it. I have a website. It's raphaelfeldman.com. My name's on the booklet that you can keep and continue to write down any notes or stories or whatever you want. Thank you all so much for participating and playing. Yeah.